Kingdoms Apart is essentially a conflict between two families vying for the same throne. It's an adaptation of Mahabharata, which is the world's longest epic poem. My name is Tze Chien. I am the playwright and director of Kingdoms Apart. I've always been very, very fascinated with that story and the complexity of the story and the characters.
As mankind, we love to share stories, we love to listen to stories. Mahabharata, it's a story that everyone wants to share. And for that reason, I think Mahabharata became its own cultural product. The Mahabharata, if we translate both the words Maha and Bharata, it really means the great tale of the Bharata dynasty, or the people of the land, which we understand to be India from today's point of view. The Mahabharata is the cornerstone of Indian literature, Hindu religion and worldview, as well as its culture. So we can also look at the Mahabharata as a historical socio-cultural record of the royal lineage, its subjects, the kinds of trade that happened during that period, the arts that flourished, the kinds of dance and music that flourished, sports like archery that flourished. But if we just want to look at it as good old fiction, then that can also be what the Mahabharata can be about. Let's not forget that Mahabharata began circulation through oral tradition. So it's passed on through stories from one generation to another. It happens in the domestic sphere, in the public setting, in temple settings. And so all of these start to really strengthen and shape communities. Information, memories, and knowledge that are always passed on then become a kind of a common belief system that is being slowly created. So I think that would be one of the roles that Mahabharata plays. The second one, of course, if we look in terms of the narratives themselves, they serve as parables on how to live life. We look at Sanskrit as a language, there's actually no word that encapsulates evil. Evil is often showcased as the lack of goodness. And pretty much that is how the Mahabharata is being circulated, that nothing is completely good, nothing is completely bad. In fact, one is always in relation to the other. And to me, I think that really reflects humanity, where no character, no situation is completely good, completely bad. In the past and even today, of course, it also plays the role of serving as entertainment. So we have South Indian dance forms like Kathakali or Theyyam that often perform snippets from the Mahabharata. Beyond that, even if we look around in our region, in Indonesia, there's the Javanese Kakawin Bharatayutta, which is a written text about the Mahabharata, written and adapted based on the local culture. We need to look and re-understand the Mahabharata beyond this Indian marker and really look at it as cultural capital. Basically, no single person, no single group holds on to any authoritative claim, and that, I think, gives Mahabharata a lot of traction, and so much of traction that is valuable and relevant for today.
I think because it's all about a series of conflicts, and I think primarily it's about kinship. You think that blood is thicker than water, but sometimes because of blood, there is so much baggage. And you find that in a lot of our relationships with our parents, with siblings and our cousins, it's always very complex. And something about that would always be very, very universal. All of us can relate to it in one form or another.
For people who don't know the Mahabharata, I think it's very good to have contact with it, because it's got such wonderful, interesting thinking and philosophies about life, about the universe, about the cosmos, right? And then for me, it's also the magic of Chong Tze Chien. It's his magic, for example, with puppetry and his team of puppetry designers.
We started the process in 2019, meeting over on Zoom. We have some couple on-set workshops with Singapore actors and those who are based here, and then corresponding with our foreign actors via Zoom. So it's been 2 years in the making at this point. We had our foreign actors coming in, and we had a stumble through where from beginning to end with the script in hand, kind of block the entire play from beginning to end to kind of see where the play could potentially look like. These are all theatre veterans. Seeing them having this acting sparring with one another, you could see the years of practice behind each actor's craft. So even though their language barriers, for example, I don't know what my Japanese actor is saying all the time, both he and I have an understanding about theatre language, theatre collaboration, about spirit. We all speak that same language. after meeting them on Zoom for so long, to work and interact with them physically and in the room, that for me is always the most magical part about rehearsals.
It's been a luxury, I think, in a lot of ways, to be able to really sit in with a character, to let it kind of stew and develop. I've been able to kind of explore and do more research, look at different resources, talk to different people about their thoughts and their ideas about some of the themes within the play.
Please, sit. The table has been set.
Fantastic. I love villainous roles. They're really, really fun to play. But what's tricky about it is that you kind of have to have a balance between being seen as this villain almost immediately and still having some sort of space for empathy from the audience as well, I think is very important. So it's trying to find that balance that makes the character really interesting.
What did you lose first? Yourself?
And every time we got the cast to read it, I had to rewrite it, because suddenly I realized that there are new insights that could be gleaned from the process as well. When I'm a director or I'm a playwright, I'm actually two different persons. The playwright's craft is essentially very different from the director's craft, which is why it's almost like a schizophrenic experience. I always enjoy the process where I'm given the time and space to just experiment and just allowing myself to write as much as I can so that I could see the gems in it. Each draft of mine is actually very different from the other. I always think of it as boiling soup. It's almost like triple boil and double boiling the soup. You're deepening the characters. It's a very rewarding experience, because to start a play with nothing and to start with an empty page and filling in that with words and characters, to adapt them and then making it my own, and then getting to work with actors and fully realize the potential of the script and visually manifest it. Okay, alright, let's try this. And the actors and the designers have their own input as well, and trying to manage that. It's almost like steering a ship. There's so many moving parts. It's never going your way unless you work with every single one on board. That is the most challenging part, but also the most rewarding part as well, because you get to work with collaborators, which is why I love theatre. It's a great cast to work with, a great team to work with, and coming together to work on this production of such epic scale. I think what has been most exciting about it is a flexible, mid-sized theatre. And I can't wait to open the production in that new space. It's a long play. I mean, it's exciting and it's almost like a roller coaster ride. I think what we want is to be moved by the characters and to feel that you're making this emotional and narrative journey with them. And there's another hundreds of years of backstory embedded into the tale as well. So you will feel that you'll live through a lifetime with these characters in 3 hours.